Good afternoon, my freedom-loving patriots. If you wouldn't mind, please like, comment, subscribe. Today, we are reacting to a few clips from the Aaron Rodgers, Tucker Carlson sit-down that happened today. If you want to see the full video, I believe it's on YouTube. I know for a fact, though, it's on Twitter. It's about an hour and a half long. I grabbed a few of my favorite clips from the interview, and we are going to react together to them. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get a video started, y'all.
Shocked to learn that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
No.
Duh.
I mean, how many Jeffrey Epstein type people are out there?
Well, that's right.
That's the real question.
You mean people who've been killed, or people who are using sex as a blackmail tool?
That.
Yep.
And then who's pulling the strings on that?
The CIA.
Any guesses?
Well, Ghislaine.
I'm going to try not to pause it until the clip's over, but as we know, the CIA runs it all. When it comes to Diddy and the music industry, when it comes to the elites, Hollywood actors, when it comes to the music being distributed, what's being said in these films or these genres of music, the CIA controls it all. At the top, the CIA runs everything, which is why we need to not only defund them when Trump gets back in, but abolish them as a whole, because they are the problem that causes all of the biggest issues for us around the world.
Maxwell has a lot of ties to the Mossad.
Yep.
That would make sense. I mean, Jeffrey didn't seem to get some of the appointments he was given in prominence based on merit. Somebody was putting him in the right spots.
Maxwell was his handler, Epstein's handler. That's what I think.
I think there's a problem, a weird, bizarre problem, really, that has a weird sex component to it with some of the elites. And there's a pedophile component to it as well, which is really sick. And there's, some prominent figures, who are in the spotlight as of late. I would like that to be exposed. But Jeffrey Epstein had the goods on everybody. So there were a lot of people that didn't want him to be alive. And then the whole, wild story around, multiple people being asleep and, him not being watched at the time is real convenient. And I just don't believe in that many coincidences.
No. He was murdered in federal detention.
My personal belief is Diddy is the second Epstein, and I think Jay-Z's involved in all the top people in the music or rap industry. And the craziest part is the feds have all of the videos. They took all the videos. They raided his house before they arrested him and killed him. They have it all. They could release it any time, but there's a reason why they're not releasing it, because the CIA and the feds were controlling it from the top, just like the music industry. Same thing there. I think they're going to have Diddy be the fall guy, just like Epstein, and then they're going to hide all the evidence. But you know what? We have an election coming up, so you already know what's going to happen then. Trump's going to get elected, and he's going to expose all of these groomers, pedophiles, and people who have committed crimes against children. We should have no sympathy for these cocksuckers. Sorry for my language.
I don't think there's any question about that. And people lied about it, including the then Attorney General of the United States.
I think there's some weird correlations between and anomalies that, the Johnny Depp trial had eyes on it, crazy coverage, and the Ghislaine Maxwell trial had next to no coverage, no TV coverage, no nightly commentary about it, no traffic to nobody. I mean, they literally she is indicted for trafficking kids, and nobody who she was trafficking kids to got indicted
or named.
Yeah. And all the files that are out there still haven't been released. We have one testimony from one victim. That's all we have. When that came out, it was just literally like one victim. And there's hundreds of just in that little who flew on the Lolita Express. And there's a lot of super prominent names who are on the flight logs.
What's the sex thing about? I mean, you've been in famous guy world for a long time, and you're from, like me, you're from California. So obviously you've been around well-known cultural figures, the elites. How long have you thought that sex plays a role?
Well, not that long. I mean, I've just kind of, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have.
Been around some interesting parties and gatherings that are strange. Not anything like what it sounds like, a Diddy party. But just even at an Oscar party, just seeing how some of these people act was always a little bit strange. I just never resonated with it. It was almost like interesting people watching, but there always seemed like there was parties within the party, people kind of doing their own thing. That always kind of weirded me out a little bit. But getting into conspiracy stuff, then about secret society stuff and like stuff like the Bohemian Grove.
Yes.
And what Nixon said about the Bohemian Grove. And
what did he say?
You have to go look at his quote. His quote is not exactly, there's some.
I think he said something like that they're all gay, right?
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
basically what he said.
Yeah.
And the secrecy around that, and that's not the only secret society. There's a lot of really interesting secret societies, not just like the Skull and Bones at Yale, which has produced all those presidents, and the Freemasonry at its highest level. And there is a sexual component, I think, to a lot of that.
If you can't see why they are charging Trump nonstop, there's a connection here. That's what I believe. Trump fought against trafficking like no other president in history. He actually brought people like the Sound of Freedom. It's bad. It's bad that I forgot his name, the guy off the Sound of Freedom. But he actually brought him to the White House and let him explain what's going on, how these kids are being trafficked, what's causing it, how we fix it. Trump did that. Not Obama, not Biden. Trump did that. And let's not recall, Biden has over 75,000 kids missing because of his open border policies. But let's keep attacking Trump and divide the attention from what Aaron Rodgers is saying right now, which is there's a big cabal of elites that are probably bisexual and gay that are raping and drugging kids on these private islands that are ran by the CIA and the feds. And that is why the feds are holding on to the documents. What other excuse would there be?
The people who called for the death of the unvaccinated, that's like kind of the category that's harder for me for people like Jimmy Kimmel, for example, who famously said,
Sean Penn as well,
yeah. Who I know actually and sort of like, but what I like him less after hearing that. How do you treat people like that who wanted you to die?
Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
I think you framed that in the right place. Like there's, there was a great mashup that Rogan talked about a few times where there was all these different shows and it said, brought to you by Pfizer. Yeah. Anderson Cooper, brought to you by Pfizer.
It's an amazing.
I think you have to realize that it's all about the money. And as you get into this, you read Bobby's book about the real Anthony Fauci, you realize if you want to know what's really going on, not just in big pharma, but in government, is follow the money. And even in the NFL, I mean, there was a strong push. They sent stooges out to every team to try and enforce a vaccination level above 90% on every team, with zero exemption, with zero informed consent. Just get this so that we look good, because big pharma ad spend is humongous, not just on the late night shows. It's obviously influences Hollywood, the NFL. So you have to understand who is actually.
But I was talking to a Navy SEAL friend of mine the other day who just got out of the Navy, and like professional athletes, I mean, these are the last people who needed the vax, and so there was this intense push to make them all get the vax. He left the Navy over it, but he said most of his friends on the SEAL team he was on did not get the vax. They got fake vax cards because they knew they're very in touch with their physical health. They're SEALs, not so different from an NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
How many NFL players actually got the vax? Do you have any idea?
I don't have any idea. I know that I'm sure that there was plenty who got fake cards. I feel like, there's I think there's a base level of.
That's the end of that clip. I wish I could have seen exactly how it finished, but it is very irritating to see how Pfizer just pretty much bought off all the elites, all the sports players, all the actors, all the musicians. They just bought them all off for a chunk of change, which shows that they have no soul and that they're willing to sell their soul very easily for some money, which means that you should not take these people serious, because they are being bought to say certain things, not based off how they feel, but based off what they're being told to say. That's why we should never glamorize any of these sports players, any of these actors that were pushing it. And yeah, we need to remember this moment. We need to remember what they said. For example, that we deserve to die. We should not be helped. We should not have jobs. We should not be able to shop for groceries because we were not willing to get the vaccine. And let me tell you, I am damn glad I never got that vaccine, because I heard so many terrible things about that and what people have experienced after getting the vaccines.
I'd love to see Joe Biden give an interview where he can speak on the history of the United States in the same way that Putin talked about the history of his country.
I'd love to see Biden do an interview where he shows how to operate a microwave, and I don't think that's going to happen. So the idea that you shouldn't be allowed to do that is so crazy to me. I'm just not going to submit to that.
Being canceled by the people who have just bowed down and given interviews from their knees to the Zelenskys of the world.
Gargling as they interview, yes.
It's wild. As this guy comes over in fucking an outfit you'd wear to the store on a Sunday morning to ask Congress for another $100 billion is fucking wild.
He looks like he's going to be in the, Village People music video. I mean, it's like insane. The whole thing is like
insane.
You do sort of wonder, like that and a million other things going on right now. You wonder if they're sort of seeing how far they can push the population until someone starts laughing. Like, are you joking?
It feels like that sometimes. Like, what if we did this? Is anybody going to give a shit? No? Okay. Well, okay. Now let's try this one here. We're going to put Joe Biden up and do this. Wait, what? This guy who can't even walk over here shits his pants every now and then?
Then we're going to pick the single dumbest but most self-confident person in the entire nation of 350 million people and make her a White House press secretary. And to have to deal with this every day.
I have been saying this administration hires the dumbest people in history in any administration we've ever had. And Carter and Obama administrations were not good, but Biden, they just take stupid to the next level. Like, I don't think I can think of a single person in their administration that is good. And yes, it would be nice for once to see Biden do an unscripted interview. But we all know he can't, because every time he does, when he's talking off script for even just more than like a minute, he usually starts lying. He gets caught in his lies, or he just makes some shit up. And then later he gets called out on the lies. He is not an honest person. He's never been an honest person. He's a plagiarist, and he always has been a plagiarist. If you just look up the history of Joe Biden on YouTube or Twitter, it's very easy to find. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. As I said, there's an hour-and-a-half interview. You can find it on Tucker Carlson's page. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. Talk to you soon. Peace.